All right, Thrive released a new feature for Thrive Apprentice that allows you to connect Thrive Apprentice directly with Stripe. And I want to go over a couple of the details regarding that integration, some things that I think are good for a lot of people, and some things that I think are bad just about for everybody. We're going to walk through the how-tos, meaning we're going to walk through how to connect everything, get everything up and running. We're going to go over some use cases, and then we're going to go over a couple of my thoughts on what's missing, what I wish they would do to improve, and maybe who this is right for and how you can use it if you decide to use it for your business. Let's get started by going through the how-to, or at least part of the how-to, and we're going to come to some of those shortcomings here that I want to talk about pretty quick. So to access the new Stripe integration, they handle that at the product level. So you're going to want to go into Thrive Apprentice, you're going to want to click on products, find a product that you want to add the Stripe integration to. So for me, I could find my membership, like Convology Pro, or my community membership here. And I would go to Access Requirements, click on that. And you can see here there's a new big blue Stripe section that they say recommended, which I honestly don't think I would recommend, but they're recommending it. And you just click Connect Stripe, and it's going to bring up this Stripe screen. Let's see if I can bring that up on my screen for you. Here we go. It's going to bring up a Stripe screen like this for you, and yours is either going to have some information there already. Like for me, I have like 5 or 6 Stripe accounts under my one login. So it basically said, hey, Thrive Themes is using Stripe now to, provide you a platform solution. Would you like to create a new business, which is essentially just them creating a new, this is all for Stripe, by the way. This isn't you creating a business or anything. And there's no big ramifications of doing this, but essentially the way that Stripe works now is they really encourage platforms like Thrive to create a platform-based integration rather than just setting you loose and letting you create your own Stripe integration. But without going on many tangents, it creates another version of Stripe for you, like another account that just is in the upper left-hand corner, which I'll show you. And basically it's kind of managed, I'm putting that in air quotes, managed by Thrive Themes. I essentially think that they don't have much control at all. We'll go over that as well when we look at the API key. But when you're setting this up, it says, hey, you've got an existing Stripe account, you've got an existing Stripe setup, your business, Convology. Do you want to just apply all your business info, like your EIN, your business address, the ownership information, like when you create a Stripe account as an owner, you need to put in like your social security number, your bank account information, all that. And so what it's asking here is it's saying, do you just want to use this same info for this new business? In other words, new Stripe account. So that's what I did. I checked that box, click continue. I've done this a few times. Like I recently did it with I'm setting up my Convology site on high level. So I had to do it for high level. I'm setting up, like a long time ago, I set it up with like ConvertKit and all these other tools that integrate with Stripe. So I have a ton of Stripe accounts, but nicely they're all under one login. So click on that, you click continue, and it basically sends you to the next screen, which just looks like Stripe. Okay, so I made this connection, and in the upper left-hand corner, you can see where it says Thrive Themes LLC. It's basically telling you that this particular Stripe account is kind of connected, or is 100% connected to Thrive Themes. You can even see a message here, Thrive Themes LLC has access to new tools to help manage your account. Personally, I actually really find this annoying. I wish Stripe never did this, and this is one of the main things I dislike about Thrive going this route with this type of Stripe integration. Thrive could have made a much different integration with Stripe that simply let you use an existing Stripe account and put in some API keys. There are ways around it. Companies are still doing it today. Kind of the path of least resistance seems to be to just do this platform integration. But if you clicked on that link right there, I clicked learn more, it opens up another tab with a Stripe window, and it goes through stuff like, since June, new standard accounts on Stripe will have platform controls enabled, allowing platforms to manage additional crap, so on and so forth. And it just basically goes through kind of explaining in just way too many words that your account is tied to this platform, this version of your Stripe account. I don't know why it's in Stripe's interest to force you to have all these little micro accounts everywhere. It just really bothers me. And it also really bothers me when companies like Thrive create a Stripe integration like this and they force you to use the platform integration. Because right here, Stripe says, how do I opt out of this change? They're like, well, if you don't want to do it, just create your own Stripe account here, which is totally great. I have one. I have like 4. However, Thrive forces you to use their Thrive platform integration. I don't know why, because you're still putting in a restricted API key, which I can make in any of my Stripe accounts. One reason why a lot of platforms do that is so that they can tack on a percentage. I've tried to figure out, I haven't run any actual transactions through Thrive's integration, but I'm trying to figure out why they're forcing one way or one reason, and I hope someone from Thrive will comment so that I don't have to like do a chess transaction, is whether or not they're tacking on a percentage fee. So like some places will build these integrations. Stripe charges 2.9% plus other fees, which we'll go over in a second because that's a pet peeve of mine that I'm going to show you. And then like Thrive would be able to say, and we also want to charge a 0.5 or 0.05% fee as well, so that they can double dip on the processing fees and they can collect something really it's not shady. It's not even underhanded. That's too aggressive, but that is a business model which is totally legit, but one that I don't really love. I especially if it's not really clear. So I don't know if Thrive's doing that, but I can't find any other reason why they would say you can't take a restricted API key from any Stripe account, give it the exact same permissions, the exact same access, and let it work. I don't know. Maybe there's some weird restriction on Stripe, but the error message I got said Thrive is saying that it has to be from the Thrive platform managed account. So the reason I'm going over all this is because there's some annoying ramifications for your business if you're like me. So I've had a Stripe account for many, many years, and I'm on their legacy billing pricing. So let's look at this. And this is the next thing I want to talk about why I don't love this integration so much. All these accounts look different, by the way. I'm not sure why Stripe has so many different versions. If we go to, scroll down here and find billing, there it is. If we go to billing plans here under billing, you can see that right here, the current plan for this account, I'm still in my account in the upper left-hand corner. You can see I'm still in the Thrive Themes account. If I were to create any sort of recurring payment that gets managed by Stripe, which recurring payments through the Thrive integration are managed by Stripe, they take on an additional 0.5% fee. Let's put that into perspective. They normally charge 2.9% plus 30 cents per successful card transaction. If you run a recurring payment, a subscription to a membership or whatever you want to run for your courses or whatever, it's now 3%. Let's put that into more perspective. If you run $100,000, 2.5%, $2,500. 3%, $3,000. $500 difference if you ran 100K a year. I run double, sometimes triple that in a year on credit card processing fees through Stripe. So if I were to change from any of my other tools over to this integration, I would be forced into creating a new Stripe account, and I would be forced into accepting the fact that my recurring fees would be charged an additional 0.5%. This is not going to affect everybody, because if you're a brand new Stripe user, you don't have the discount that I do. But a lot of people do have this discount, and there's no way on this earth I'm going to pay an additional $1,500 just to use this integration. So big pet peeve of mine that I'm forced, in order to use this integration, to create a new account. Thrive, I really think that you need to re-look at how this integration works. You can look at any of the other newer tools that have come out that have all allowed users to keep their existing Stripe accounts, use our API keys. You have to get and use the API key in the exact same way, which now I'm not talking to Thrive anymore, which for all of you, I'll show you how to do that as we go through this setup mode. But this is ridiculous. So there's just no way. But assuming that you do want to use this integration because you're thinking it's easier, which it's kind of, sort of, not really. But if you're interested in using this integration, let's walk through what the next steps would be. So coming back here to my website, let's go ahead and click this Connect Stripe button. And because we've created our account and you saw that I was logged in, they're saying, great, you created your account, but you're not connected. This is where the goofball part comes in, because even if I were to make a restricted API key with all of the restricted API permissions that they want, if you click this Show Required Permissions button right here, it says make an API key with these permissions. I can make this same key in my other account, and it gives me an error that says this isn't from a Thrive Themes managed account. Kind of suspicious, guys. But let's look into how to get that key. So let's pop over to our Thrive Themes managed Stripe account. Let's go into our developer section in the top right-hand corner. And then let's go ahead and click on API keys. Make sure in the upper right-hand corner you are not in test mode. And then go down to restricted keys down here, click create restricted key. And here is where you see all of these permissions that if we pop back over here, we need to set up. Charges, they have to be able to set to read, etc. So I'm going to set up these permissions and then meet you right back here. Okay, we just finished setting our last permission. Let's scroll down to the bottom and click create key. And you can see I forgot to give it a name. We'll call ours Thrive Apprentice and Convology. And then we'll scroll down and we'll click create key now. Okay, copy the key. You're going to get a little window that comes up. You're going to copy that key, save it somewhere, like I use 1Password to store my API keys. Store it somewhere because you won't be able to get it again because it's a restricted key. And once you have that, you're going to put it into this restricted API key box here, and then click this little green save icon. All right, now we are at a screen that looks like this, and we can see that we have our environment, and there's a live box here that can't be interacted with. But if we click this API gear icon, you're going to be taken over to the API section inside of Thrive Themes. And here we can actually click edit and we can add our test key. So let's go back into our Stripe account, turn test mode on in the upper right-hand corner with this little orange toggle, turn it back on. Let's create a new restricted key, walk through that same annoying process of setting up all these permissions, and then put that key in for testing as well. Okay, with our key pasted in now, we can click done and come back over here to our product. Let's give it a refresh. And we should see that we have a live and a test environment to play with now. There we go. And we can change it between live and test. Cool. I'm going to leave mine as test because I don't want to be playing with anything live. Now we can create our first product. If we click this button, it's going to open up our Stripe account and bring up the create product screen, which if you're a Stripe user, you might be familiar with. I use this when I invoice customers using Stripe's invoicing manually. I use this setup to have my products that I don't necessarily sell through my website. Like, for example, I have some clients on like $7,000 retainers. I'm not running that through my website. I'm running an agreement. They're signing the agreement, and then I'm sending them a Stripe invoice for them to pay, not with a credit card because I don't want to pay processing fees, but with ACH bank transfers. So if you're creating products like normal in Stripe, you should have no confusion about this, but let's walk through it pretty simplistically here. So we need to create a product. And if you remember, if we come back here, we were inside of a specific Thrive Apprentice product. So for me, if this was my community membership, I would name it community membership. I could, if I wanted to, upload a photo. I could add an optional description, and under advanced additional options here, you can put in the statement descriptor, which I've always liked that Stripe gives you the option per product to change the descriptor, which has come in handy for me in the past. So I don't really think I need to make any changes there for this particular product. The pricing model, I can't imagine you changing it from standard for any reason. But the price, if we look down below the price here, we can see recurring. The price, let's say that for me, this was $49 per month. So I would say recurring, and I would say monthly. So our price is $49 every single month. It's not metered usage, and it's the default price. If we open up our additional options here, you can see there are options for price descriptors, etc. We're just going to leave those blank. No need to play with those. And we're going to click Save Product. And now I already made a mistake here that I want to make sure you don't make, or if you do, you can see what I've done. So if we go back in under our Stripe account here, interestingly, I wasn't in test mode. So I was in test mode over here. I was in test mode a second ago, but I just made my product on the live side. Oops. So you can see if I go to live, I actually have my community membership here, which is fine. I can pop back over to Stripe, toggle us back into test mode, and I can come back here and I can say on the left-hand side, more, I can find my product catalog. There it is. And I can start creating products. So let's go ahead and create a new product in the top right-hand corner. Click create product. Let's just do this again. Community membership. We'll go test mode just for fun. And then we'll change this to $49 recurring per month. And just a reminder, because this is a forced new account, I am paying an additional 0.5% to Stripe for running and managing the subscription. Oh, the joys. So I'm going to click Save Product, and now I have a test product. If I came back over here, went to test mode, there it is, community membership test mode. And if I did set multiple prices, I could say, there it is. I could choose my price option. I'll just choose that one right there. And then you'll see there's a message here that says, to display the Buy Now button for this product, you must change the action button display settings to Buy Now. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's change it over here. We'll click this button. So down here under Action Button Display, again, this is just under Access Restriction Rules. They've added a new section. We're going to change this to a Buy button, and we're going to select Stripe and click Save. Now going back to our access requirements, we'll come back to Stripe, expand that back down. And upon successful purchase of this, where should the user go? And if the customer cancels or that payment fails, we can put in another URL. I'm just going to put in the same one for right now, but you would want to have that be like a sorry to see you go or your payment failed. And then we just come down here and click Save in the bottom right. Now here's one of the kind of nuances to this integration here. What I just protected was not a course. What I protected was a Thrive Apprentice product, and therefore something has to be in that product in order to be protected, in order to trigger the access restriction rules that say you don't have access to this, here's where you go and buy it. Now under access restriction rules, we need to set up a custom access restriction rule unique to this product with a Buy Now button. And it's a new feature that they added inside of the editor for the purchase protection. So let's go ahead and go into there. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Under purchase protection, you'll see display custom content or default site behavior. Go ahead and click on that. And I'm going to change this I'm going to set it to display custom content and edit with Thrive Architect. So here's the default access restriction rule that they give you. It's pretty awful. We'll just leave it like this, and we'll just add the button. So down here, or over here on the right-hand side, we're going to scroll all the way down in the element tray and add our Buy Now button. And what's really cool about that is when we click on it in the left-hand side, they've added a new dynamic link section for Thrive Apprentice product. And there it is. We can see what products we have set up to have Buy Now. In this case, our community membership is the one that we've been playing with. And Stripe, of course, is the only integration. And we can say open in a new tab. That sounds fine by me. So let's click Save Work on that. And we could customize this however we want. We could customize this button just like we can customize a Thrive Architect button anywhere. Now we just set that up for purchase protection. However, what if someone comes to your website and is not logged in yet? So we will want to go to our not logged in option here under standard context, user not logged in. Instead of default site behavior, we want to change that to custom content because we're showing a custom Buy Now button for logged out users for specific to this product. And we will edit this with Thrive Architect as well. And we'll just add in the same thing that we just did with the other one, and we'll just add in a Buy Now button down here. Buy Now, drop that there, make sure it has all the right settings. We won't bother customizing it. And now if I open up a new tab and I try to access this content, you can see a Buy Now button error message comes up. And you would of course want to customize this, but this button is really what we care about at this point in time. And you can see that it has sent me over to Stripe where I can take a look at it here, community membership, $49 per month. If I had put an image, it would have appeared here as well. I would recommend like a square image there would look nice. And you can just fill in all your information. Now let's talk about what happens at this point. So upon the completion of the purchase of access to this, what happens? Well, if you've been using ThriveCard or something like that, you're pretty familiar with that login credential. So if we pop back over here to our site, we go to settings, email templates. No thanks. This error message is new. Don't want to use WP Mail, use Fluent SMTP. Here, if we want to choose our template, we can choose new account created, and we would write here what message we would want the person to get when they get their account created, because they're going to receive a username and a password, their username's their email address, and you're going to want to check this box right here. So this says Stripe new account created after purchase. Same thing that we did with ThriveCart, or if you did a new user registration. I have lots of videos on my channel that go over this, but essentially this is what you want. You can edit this all you want, but I recommend you leave this part completely alone. And it's just basically going to say username. I put your email address in parentheses. I recommend you do that as well. But for password, it's going to generate a random alphanumeric symbol password for them. And this is going to be sent through your website's SMTP, which is why up here, Thrive was acquired by the company that does make this product. So they're trying to push WP Mail SMTP. I don't recommend it. They charge you for some very basic features that they shouldn't. Get something like Fluent SMTP. I have posts on my website, tutorials that'll teach you how to do it. Super, super easy. And I also have videos on the channel. Just look for those. And that way, when they complete this purchase, they get redirected to your confirmation page. It says, well, welcome, check your email. Their email was the one that I just showed you. And what essentially is happening here is this integration is with that API key we did all those permissions for. It's basically Stripe is going to say to Thrive Apprentice, hey, this product was purchased. Here's the user's email. And Thrive Apprentice is going to say, oh, I know what to do with that. Great. I'm going to send them an email that says, here's your password. Here's how you log in. And that's the entirety of the flow. Now, pretty straightforward. Well, not really straightforward. I think there's a lot of cumbersome connectivity things there. Let's talk about what I don't like about this particular setup. One, I don't like this checkout page. I've really never been a big fan of Stripe's checkout pages. One, they try to push this link thing on you. I just don't love it. And two, I don't like the fact that there's no funnel here. You don't have any ability to add upsells. You don't have any ability to add any order bumps. And if you wanted to piggyback any other webhooks or tech stack integrations, you're going to have to do it with something that supports piggybacking off of a Stripe checkout completion. And you're going to have to connect it to this account that Thrive made you make through the Stripe platform integration. So really, that's why I just don't recommend this integration with Stripe for most people. I would say for someone who's looking to sell one-off products, meaning you're not doing a subscription, so not like a membership that charges regularly, I would say if you're doing a one-off, like I'm selling a course, it's $199, maybe this is right for you. It's kind of all within Thrive, so to speak. I would also say this is only right for someone that doesn't already have a legacy Stripe account. So if you're new to Stripe, this might be a good solution for you. If you have a Stripe account, please do not just throw money away. That's ridiculous. Save that money, go with something else like SureCart, where you avoid those fees, even if you're a new Stripe user, because they don't push those subscriptions into Stripe. They manage it through SureCart. It's part of what you pay for. Or you could use ThriveCart. It's another great option. I have videos all over my channel that tell you how to use different tools. And this is just another one of those options. I want to caution people, especially, I'm going to get a dozen or more emails today that are like, Doug, I just saw the new Stripe integration come out. Do I need to switch to that? Should I not have bought ThriveCart? Help me. What do I do? Take a breather. This is just one of many options available to you. It's an option that I think Thrive has implemented for people who are not wanting to get another tool, right? So like they don't want to buy another product. They want to just buy Thrive Apprentice, have a Stripe account. They don't care about paying extra processing fees. They just want to get it all like in one place. So it's good for those people. It's good for someone that doesn't want to do recurring because I don't think it manages recurring well. Because also there's no like user dashboard here, right? There's like no, like if we come over to my site here, let's go back into my site here. Let's visit the site. What I like about using something like SureCart is I like having a place right here on my website where my customers can see their subscription plans, their payment methods, their order history. This is why I love SureCart, and one of the reasons I love SureCart. You don't get this with that Stripe integration. Instead, it's kind of just you bought the product, let's throw you in. Let's just throw you in access to it. And that works, right? That's kind of how ThriveCart's integration is too, but ThriveCart has a little customer hub. But in general, this is for someone that just wants a very straightforward integration. Nothing inherently wrong with that. For a lot of people out there, you're kind of running a digital business, right? The idea of having funnels makes sense to you. You can, but it's much more complicated to have funnels like this. You kind of lose a lot of the control, and you're beholden to this integrated Stripe account that you can't do a whole lot else with. I definitely recommend you don't do a whole lot else with. If you're going to be using Stripe for like separate invoicing, create a separate account that's not tied to Thrive themes, please, because that's ridiculous again. And I'm kind of beating a dead horse, if we're still allowed to say that, beating a dead horse over this because I feel like it's such a ridiculous thing to have to create another Stripe account just to make this integration work. But again, maybe there's people that it's right for. So to wrap up this already way too long video, there's a little bit more here that I want to go over, but I think I'll hold off for other videos. Things like temporary access, like you can go in under access restriction and you can set, how long should someone get access for? Maybe they get access for a year and then they have to buy it one time again. That would be a good way to avoid that recurring subscription. There's some other things we'll go over. I'll probably create more tutorials because inevitably there's going to be a lot of people that want to learn about this. So with this information, I hope it was helpful. I hope showing you how all this worked was helpful. And I hope me kind of showing you why I'm a little frustrated with this integration, I hope that is useful to help at least give you information to help make the decision for yourself. I know I was swaying you one way more than the other. I am biased, obviously, towards tools that give you more features and more freedom. But I hope that this at least empowered you to make the decision about whether or not the Thrive Apprentice default Stripe integration is right for you.